Welcome to the Sussex Collaborative, and in this edition we're going to be looking at marketing with COVID. As you can see, we're socially distanced and we're ready to go, and the first thing I'm going to do is ask Nicky about what you do and why you're part of the Sussex Collaborative.
Yeah, so I'm a business development consultant, so I kind of focus mostly around strategic planning, a little bit around marketing as well, hence being here today. So, and also with yourself and Joe, we set up the Sussex Collaborative March time, so perfect timing just as we went into COVID, and that's kind of what I've been doing for the last few months.
Perfect. Joe?
Thank you, Jeff. I'm Joe Lynch. I support businesses of various sizes and shapes with their commercial and marketing strategies, helping them develop the capability of their marketing teams, and in particular applying marketing strategies for those organisations that are not for private profit or for profit, and sometimes cross between the two. And for me, the collaborative is really important because it's great to have people to work with. It's great to have people to talk to, support one another, share ideas, and equally my ethos is if I don't know something, I won't blag it. I'll phone somebody that does know, and we can support clients better that way.
Perfect. Thank you. Lynsey?
Hi, Jeff. So I look after a public relations company called Publicity. I've been doing that for the last 10 years, and we help people get themselves in front of the audiences. We also have content management company, so we have lots of different ways of getting people spoken about.
Great. Great to have you all here. So let's kick off. Big question, no easy answer, but crack on with it. What do you think are the priorities for marketing directors at the moment? Nicky?
I think, the main thing is got to be about building your reputation as a customer-focused business. I think at the moment people are looking for reassurance from brands that they're buying from, and I think it's about, trying to make sure that where you've got loyal customers, you're using that feedback to actually tell your story. So I think it's really important to make sure that brands are out there and supporting people as much as they are trying to sell. Ultimately we're all trying to sell, but I think it's got to be about creating that trust and reassurance.
I think it's also really easy, particularly going through like COVID as we are, to think that a lot of businesses are struggling, but presumably some of them coming out of this are actually thriving as well.
Yeah, I think what I'm finding is talking to different clients is that there is a mix. Some people are, and it does come back to budget. I think some people are struggling with budgets. They're trying to sort of work out where they can afford to spend, and I think it's important to keep spending. But there are others who have done really well. They've actually taken it head on. They've adapted. They've been really proactive in what they're doing. And I'm sure, Joe, you're finding that as well with your clients, that they're not all panicking. They're actually using it as an opportunity.
Yeah, you're right. I think that opportunity comes in different forms. Some is it's actually this shock of COVID has given everybody the kick that perhaps we needed to think those changes we wanted to make a while ago, but didn't because perhaps they were difficult decisions or there wasn't the urgency, has led to huge transformations in the way teams work, businesses work. The products they offer customers has shifted enormously, very, very quickly, and some people are really thriving. So amongst all the doom and gloom, there is opportunity for virtually anybody.
Good.
Yeah, and especially I'd say also, especially when it comes to things with content, because that's where a lot of the money's being moved from. Traditionally it'd be other parts of marketing, but now, it's all sort of people are really focused on their content.
Yeah, and I think, when it comes to content, I have seen a few cases where people are going a bit overloaded. So I was talking to a new client and she got into video content, so she was all over doing Facebook Live and Instagram Stories, which was great. She was very enthusiastic about it, but she was doing it every day. And I think what happened was that start with her following was growing and her engagement levels were great, but when we started to look into the detail of it, that was starting to drop off. And I think one of the big things I'm recommending is make sure you've got some metrics that you're measuring against, but keep it simple. Don't have too many that you're just overloaded with data, but make sure that your engagement levels, the ones that are important, is it going to get you a sale at the end of it, and are people interested in it? And again, it's coming back to that reputation for being customer focused.
And keeping it relevant too. I don't know about you, but I've had an email from a car park that I used once 4 years ago telling me about their COVID policies. I don't really care. That's just rubbish. Just talk about what's relevant, what's useful to the customer. And if it's not, don't overplay it.
And also don't ignore the elephant in the room, which is COVID, because
Yeah.
that's another thing I've noticed from people coming through, is that they're not actually mentioning it and trying to skirt around it. So again, it is actually engaging your consumers in what is actually going on as well.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Joe, can you talk to us about marketing budget? So these challenging times will mean that cash is absolutely at a premium. So if you're going to spend it on marketing, you've got to have a powerful argument as to why you should. So what advice would you give your clients and the people watching this?
Yeah, I think a good marketing director is always feeling that pressure about justifying his or her budgets, and that hasn't changed at all. I was talking to some of my clients recently, and we've identified just 3 different phases of the market conditions that I think will inform how and where you spend. The first phase is pre-recovery, whilst nobody's buying your products or services. So this is a chance that if you can afford it, to do those things you've been meaning to do for ages, but haven't got round to. So invest in your content, invest in your search engine optimization, make sure all those hygiene factors are in place, so that when the market demand returns, you can steal the market. And then you get this lovely window of opportunity where if you're the first to move and you time it right, you can get significant advantages. I've been working with somebody recently and we got a 24% benefit in cost for search marketing because we knew our competitors weren't in the market yet. So the cost of search dropped dramatically and we got great results from that. And then the third phase is when customers are back, when the demand is there. It's this recognition that actually the supply chain, in whichever industry you're in, is difficult at the moment. People are working differently. Some products are easy to sell and fulfill, some are much harder. So I'd really focus on promoting those products and services that you know can be delivered reliably and efficiently and consistently, and you're not getting distracted by spending a fortune searching for products that actually might not get delivered in the end. So really focus on your core services and the efficient distribution of those. I don't know whether you've seen the same, Nicky.
Yeah, I think so. I think one of the other things people are doing that I've been talking to in terms of their budgets is looking to see where they can supplement them. So the whole piece around kind of partnership marketing is really expanding, and everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's trying to reach new customers and retain their existing customers. And what I've done with a couple of clients is actually look to see where we can do campaigns on a contra basis. And what I mean by that is you kind of sharing the funding of it, but you're telling a story that then resonates with 2 new sets of customers. So I think, Lynsey, you were saying you had a client that was doing exactly that.
Yeah, I have this client who's a camping specialist, and they've come together with, Chunky, the pull-along suitcases, and they've cross-marketed together, which has given them great value. And it's been an opportunity, which is a market they both wanted to hit. But obviously, from my perspective, it's the long-term value of PR and the best bang for your buck.
Unless it's L&D.
Of course. and all the others.
For your buck.
Play nicely.
So, going on from that, actually picking up from that, so as we process and work through COVID, where do you think are the lasting impacts and benefits of marketing going to come from?
From my perspective and from our clients' perspective, we found that you get more opportunities right now with PR as long as you do exactly what Joe has said about housekeeping, having your product ready, getting ready to go to market, getting a steal on everybody else. And we had to do that because, for example, with traditional marketing, traditional PR, I must say, during COVID, there were restrictions. People couldn't travel. So if you need to go out and see a product or go and experience a product, you couldn't do it. So what we did is we went to other markets, found other influencers and journalists in different countries in order to do that, which worked really well, and we got a steal on everybody else. And then also with that, the lasting effect is what's changed in our market. Traditional media is still really important, but digital is absolutely up there. The figures for the Mail, for Independent, all the newspapers has gone through the roof, and they are reporting much more far more than they ever have. So there's far more content. Content is king. Getting all these stories out is really important. So that's number one, I would say. And then secondly was the whole influencer thing. Now, you know, you've had people who are really, really big and they wanted this, they want that, I want everything paid for, I want a private jet. Unfortunately, I don't have very many of those in my back pocket, but it's been really interesting because from that perspective, it has changed. There's lots of them have disappeared. So again, the market's changing, I think.
I'm actually finding, so one of my clients were building a whole campaign around influencer marketing, and they are disappearing, but actually the ones that are left are reducing the costs. So we've found that probably the rates are down by about a third. And what we're doing is focusing on the what we call kind of micro and nano influencers, because they actually have much more trust than the big celebrities.
Yeah.
So it's the ones that are around about sort of 10,000 plus followers, and you know Instagram's booming. And I hadn't realised this whole influencer marketing space is worth about $20 billion.
It's massive.
Yeah,
it's
I
massive.
think that trust is really important though, because maybe I'm a cynical old dog, but everything's changed and nothing has changed.
Yeah.
That trust between any organisation and their customers is still paramount.
Yeah.
I think this crisis has probably escalated that journey or sped it up. Consumers are wiser than they've ever been before, and they can see through phony marketing. They can see when you're blagging something. So it's having trusted opinion formers, it's having transparency about your policies, your practices, your products, to let the customer find out that yes, you're right for them. And that's always been the principle.
Yeah, and also having the right content around that. So, you know, if you are a serious brand, you need to have serious content, the right tone of voice. That has been more apt than it has before. But if you're a fun brand, you want to be fun. You've got to be seen as being fun, and that's what your consumers want. And that's the same with PR. So you want to do something fun. Recently, we've just done a piece with Good Morning Britain. No, this morning. And what's happened with that is we've had a celebrity up in Scotland filming for our client on a boat, and it's going out live at the moment. So again, that's something else that's fun. I think she falls off the boat, but it's getting people to buy into the brand. So again, you know, that's what's important at the moment, is having something that fits.
I'm going to add to that.
Sorry, yeah.
Keep on marketing, keep on talking to your customers. People are uncertain, these are difficult times. If you look like you've closed, people will assume you've closed. Marketing doesn't need to be expensive. You can have those conversations with your customers and keep in touch, keep reassuring people, so that when confidence does return, you're in the best position. But don't be, you could potentially precipitate your own downfall by stopping marketing because you're scared, and that will stop demand, and that's very dangerous.
But I think you've got to be measuring. So coming back to the budget question, you've got to keep measuring what's working, because you could be thinking you're on a great track, spending loads of money, but actually not getting the return on your sales. So I think the marketing team can't be an island within a business. They've got to be talking to the other people within it, particularly the other stakeholders around sales. But importantly, talk to the teams that are talking to your customers. So whether they're on Zoom calls or whatever, you need to know what your customers want. So I think it's coming back to that.
And that's what's actually the other lasting thing is Zoom. That is a new marketing tool. I think we can all say that in PR, marketing, everything else. That is definitely a lasting effect of COVID.
I think marketing plans are going to be stronger, because I think all of this makes you actually take a step back, pause, rethink, restructure what you're doing. And my clients are very much in that sort of frame, is that they're going to have stronger plans going forward, which are leaner but actually much more focused.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you all three of you. I've learned tons from this short interlude. So just for the sake of the audience, how can they get in touch with each of you?
So I've got a website, it's nickymackconsulting.co.uk, and I'm also, my profile's on the Sussex Collaborative website.
Nicky with a Y.
Nicky with a Y, yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Joe with a J?
Yeah, absolutely, yes please. Through Sussex Collaborative or through lynchconsulting.co.uk.
Excellent.
Ditto, not Joe, but through Sussex Collaborative, and it's heavenpublicity.co.uk.
Superb. Thank you all, and thank you to the MBAR for supporting this event.
Yep, and Rocket Pod Media for filming today.
It. Yeah. And if I may, if you've got any other questions, topics you'd like to see us discuss in future editions of the 4am Club, please drop us a line, and we'll we'll try and pick up the conversation next time.
Excellent. Thank you all.
Thank you.